The most critical question that you'll have to prepare for your next job interview is, tell me about yourself. In this video, I'll break down the exact answer that I gave during my job interview with Lucid Software, where I now currently work as a senior manager of business development. The structure that I used to answer this question also worked when I got jobs at the NBA, CBS, and got accepted to MIT Sloan for my MBA. This video will be broken down to two parts. First, we're gonna break down the exact answer that I gave to Lucid. And second, we're gonna go through the 4-step formula to help you nail this question regardless of your experience. Hi there, my name is Preston. I have about 5 years of partnership experience from the MBA and CBS. And after graduating with my MBA from MIT Sloan, I then became a startup founder for an edtech platform called Tiger Talk for the past 2 years. Now, when I was at the NBA, I was most focused on working with prospective sponsors like State Farm and Dick's Sporting Goods and try to close them on marketing sponsorship opportunities. Most notably, I secured Gatorade as the title sponsor of the NBA Development League for $3 million, and now the league is called the NBA Gatorade League. At CBS, I created a prospecting division from scratch and operationalized processes such that we could better understand advertising needs and build programs to secure them and bring them in as sponsors for our digital content programs. And with this particular initiative, I helped CBS close about $1 million in incremental revenue. And then lastly, I was a co-founder of a tech platform called Tiger Talk. It was an edtech platform that helped people improve their public speaking skills. And while I led all go-to-market operations there, I helped develop sales processes and marketing channels to secure about $50K in annual revenue. And I'm really excited about this role at Lucid Software because I believe that it combines my passion for developing relationships and having ownership in anything that I do, along with my experience, relevant experience at that, working as a partnerships manager for the NBA and CBS and just working with clients externally. Happy to answer any questions you may have. Now let's break down the 4-step formula for nailing this question. The first thing is to keep your answer brief. Don't go more than 3 minutes. Ideally, your answer should be around 2 minutes or a little less. The goal is to get your hiring manager to feel intrigued to follow up on a particular experience that you cover in your first answer. The second key is the killer one-liner. Ideally, the killer one-liner has at least 2 main traits and potentially 3. The first 2 are 1, relevant experience to the job. The second is an outside experience that really speaks to the values that the company espouses. And finally, if it's relevant, mention the education that you might have that particularly makes you a great candidate for the role. You combine those 2 or 3 elements, you've got your killer one-liner that'll make you stand out to your hiring manager amongst a sea of candidates so that when they look at your name, for me, Preston Chin, they know that, hey, I have 5 years of relevant partnership experience from the NBA and CBS. I also went to get my MBA at MIT Sloan, which they prefer MBA candidates for this particular role. And by the way, I also founded an edtech startup which shows my creativity, my initiative, my ownership, which are key values of the company. What would your one-liner be? Maybe it's, I have relevant partner marketing experience for the past 6 years at company Y and company Z. Don't start by saying where you came from or your life story or which college you went to. You don't need to go into that. Again, what is that killer one-liner that your hiring manager will remember you by? Step 3, first summarize each of your key experiences in 1 or 2 sentences max. And after you've summarized your particular job description for each role, provide one example that quantifies your impact. For example, when I was working at the NBA, I was working with prospective sponsors like State Farm and Dick's Sporting Goods and try to close them on marketing sponsorship opportunities. Most notably, I secured Gatorade as the title sponsor of the NBA Development League for $3 million, and now the league is called the NBA Gatorade League. Notice how I lead with what I did at a high level if I were to describe my my job to someone else. And secondly, I give them a great example of my impact so that they're inclined to follow up on just how I secured that sponsor, or what was the pitch that I delivered, or how did I get buy-in to actually go after Gatorade in the first place. Step 4, select 2 or 3 traits that you want your interviewer to remember about you and ensure that those characteristics come through in your answer. For me, the key traits that I wanted to get across were 1, relevant experience and partnership, 2, taking ownership and initiative, and 3, a passion for partnerships and working with clients. Notice what I did here. I said, and I'm really excited about this role at Lucid Software because it combines my passion for developing relationships and having ownership, along with my experience working as a partnerships manager for the NBA and CBS. This is typically a great wrap-up sentence. When you can combine your passion with expertise, that's a combination that most interviewers just can't say no to. Now, there are 2 main ways that I'd recommend identifying the right traits that you want your interviewer to remember about you. The first is to identify your company's values and figure out from your experiences which ones resonate with you most. The second is to look through the job description and to see what are the key skill sets that they really want for you from this job, and make sure you identify that. Now, one bonus tip, I would try to not memorize your answer. What you should do is write down your answer. It can be word for word, and go through your answer at least 10 times. Ideally, by time 5 or 6, you're not having to look at your paper. What you should focus on is memorizing the structure of your answer. For example, what's your lead sentence going to be? What are the 3 experiences that you're going to walk through as you tell them about yourself and the impact that you had? What is that killer end sentence that's going to make them really remember you and your impact and why you're such a standout candidate? Once you have that structure in your head, it's a lot easier for you to speak more off the cuff, and that'll make you sound more authentic to your hiring manager, because when you sound too scripted, it's actually going to be a big turnoff to them. So that will be my number 1 key advice. Don't memorize. Instead, remember the structure of your answer, and you can play around with words here and there to sound more authentic. Now, it's not just about answering the most important question that'll help you nail your interview. You also need to ask your hiring manager a particular question that will really cinch the deal. And to learn what that question is, watch this video right here.